It is so sad that so many entrepreneurs believe you have to have a ton of views or have to have a ton of subscribers in order to make multiple six figures in your business, when this isn't the case at all. And to prove it to you, here is my personal dashboard in my QuickBooks account. I made last year over $187,000 in my business and $45,000 in my digital product business with and I'll move this really quickly, with less than 700 subscribers, and move this back here, and less than 1,000 views. Now, I share this with you because in the 7 years of doing this, working with hundreds of entrepreneurs, I know how to create content that not only attracts the right viewer, but actually helps them turn that viewer into a buyer. And so what I want to do is walk you through the 6 moves you need to make multiple six figures before the end of 2025, before 2026. So if that sounds like you, if you want to learn those secrets, then stick around to the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal everything right now. All right, so before we get started, let's do a quick review of the beer we have right now. We got Old Yale, if you're local to Chilliwack. This is my favorite, the Golden Peach Summer Radler. And we're gonna crack this open right now. It's a Friday. Ooh, crisp. Let's drink and talk about content. The first thing that I did that actually helped me scale to multiple six figures was I stopped trying to go viral and I instead created for my ideal customer. So what the screenshot is, what you see here, was one of my first viral successes. I remember on my YouTube channel, I made over 9,000, almost 10,000 views on one single video. And then down here, 500,000 views on my TikTok. And this created a false belief of success. I believe I made it. I thought that this is it. This is the moment where my business is going to take off. And the reality is it did the opposite. That was some of the lowest amount of money, lowest revenue months in my career. In my 7 years doing this, I made the least amount of money when I tried to go viral and the most amount of money when I did the opposite. And to even show you another case, this is my client Dan Bolton, and this is a screenshot from his YouTube channel, and you can zoom in here. But as you see, he has 1.7k views, 1.3k views, 1.211, and he's getting DMs like this every single day. Just watch one of your YouTube videos and I want to work with you. Hey Dan, I've binged your content lately and would love to chat more about possibly working together and getting your help on something. And what this resulted in his business is hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. So here's me making multiple six figures in a year. He's making multiple six figures in a month. To prove to you, you don't have to go viral to actually get business success. Actually, the opposite is true. This is the first big lesson you have to understand if you want to succeed in your business. Don't treat content like you're trying to become famous, like you're trying to go viral. Create content for your ideal viewer. Think about attracting, not getting attention. And if you focus on that, I promise you, you'll see way more success than most entrepreneurs on YouTube. Now, point number 2, okay, is I use the free to paid model. Now, in my freelance days, this is very common. So if you have never been a freelancer, I'll describe to you is you do free work and you show your expertise. You show that you can get results in the goal to get them as a client. So as a coach consultant, a lot of my clients that I worked with, my agency that I coached, I did a lot of free work. I did free strategy calls. I obviously am making free content here on YouTube. The point is that the thing that we're selling isn't info, right? The greats have said this, like Alex Hormozi's been saying this, Gary Vee, Dan Martell, like all the information is free, especially in today's day and age with AI being accessible as it is. It is so easy for me to now ask ChatGPT and get the answer within seconds rather than watching a whole YouTube video. So what we are selling isn't info. And so the thing that I did to make multiple six figures is I stopped trying to sell info. I gave it all away. I gave out all the secrets that I had in my 7 years experience creating content. And I invited people on free strategy calls and I got them results. I started a free school community, which, by the way, link in description. You can join the free community right now and you can get the secrets to the sauce that I'm spitting right now. And you can learn. And the chances are when you reach success, who are you wanting to work with if you got results from the free shit? Because if his free stuff is that good, imagine what his pay stuff is, right? That's the mentality here. This helped me open so many doors and work with huge entrepreneurs that I'll talk and I'll show you later in this video. But actually doing a free to paid model is such an easy way to get clients, and was one of the things I would still do if I had to start over this journey again. I would use that model. Okay. The third move, this is a huge one. Okay. So the third move is something I learned from a fellow creator, and they talked about, actually, I learned this in a couple different times in my journey. So the first time I learned this was from Gary Vee. He said, document, don't create, right? And this idea that we need to create something, we need to think of something and birth it. But the reality is the best content comes from just documenting, showing the thing that you're doing. And this concept really, really spoke to me because at the time, I didn't have much expertise. I was still learning about video, still learning about running a business. And so it was hard for me to be like, I'm this authority and this expert, when the reality was I wasn't. I was still learning. I knew a lot. Don't get me wrong. I was skilled and knowledgeable. I got results, but I wasn't the authority. I didn't feel like it. I felt like an imposter. But when I just documented my journey and I showed people what I did, it was way easier to show value. So I had behind the scenes. I hired a videographer to film me do videography. And as a result, this allowed me to get hired by school. So as you saw, I don't have a massive audience, but yet the content I created allowed me to get hired from the biggest online community platform in the world, ran by the two biggest goats, the kings of coaching, Sam Ovens and Alex Mosey. And I get to work with countless of school game winners, of entrepreneurs making hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per month in their business because of this idea of documenting instead of trying to be an authority, right? This video is a perfect example of this, that I'm just showing you what works for me. I'm not saying this is the way or the strategy. This is just what really worked for me. Ooh, that's refreshing. All right, let's move on. Move number 4. I think this was one of the, biggest moves, the biggest ROI I think you can do to get clients and create content at the same time. I launched a video podcast. This was my secret weapon to scaling my business so fast. Having a podcast allowed me to have a platform that no other agency had, right? There's a lot of agencies out there. And so how am I going to stand out? How am I going to be different? How am I going to be the one that they want to come to instead of me trying to cold DM, cold email, always like hunting for things, right? I wanted my clients to come to me. And so I want to start a podcast because I knew that the top 1% entrepreneurs knew the power of content. They wanted to go on stages, which a podcast is like a virtual stage because I'm interviewing them. They have the leverage. I get to ask them questions. They get to repurpose into content. So not only did I get to have an amazing conversation, learn something from them, I built a deep relationship so that I was able to use in networking and creating more opportunity. And I got content out of it, right? So I was able to bank off of their audience because their audience was now introduced to me. So it allowed me to quantum leap in so fast without creating that much more content or having that much more like talent per se because of the power of a video podcast, right? Actually putting interviews out on my YouTube channel as a podcast allowed me to work with over 100 entrepreneurs across North America, across South America. I went to Mexico, went to the Caribbean, went to Florida, went to Las Vegas, went to LA, and went numerous places in the US and across Canada. And it all because of this podcast. And what you see here is a screenshot of 3 idols I got to meet because of my content and because of my podcast. So not only was I able to get clients through having a podcast. I was able to be on a Zoom call with Iman Ghazi. This is like some of the craziest thing. I never thought having a podcast and creating content would put me into rooms that money can't buy. I would have to spend like probably 50 grand to have access to Iman Ghazi. And yet there's me right here. As you can see, if I zoom in, there's me taking a photo on the Zoom call with Iman, right? There's me with Dan Martell. He's signing the book. There's me on the podcast with Gary Vee. This is all because of the opportunity that podcast actually unlocked for me in my business and the content. And I became a better creator because of it, a better entrepreneur because of it, right? So there's been so much value in doing this. I can't even express how much value it is to have a video podcast as a marketing method, okay? Now, let's move on to number 5, okay? Number 5 is very important. Something I learned from my mentor was, because I was like, oh, should I niche down? Because like at the time of my agency, I wanted to be the end all be all for video. I was like, okay, I'm going to do ads. I'm going to do YouTube. I'm going to do short form, do everything. And the advice that I was always given was to niche. And that worked. Like niching down got me to 100K very quickly. But scaling past that was a little bit difficult because even niching down, it was still hard to stand out because there's a lot of agencies out there, right? A lot of coaches out there. It was really hard to stand out. The thing that I think helped me to stand out the most was my unique POV. So you've probably seen on YouTube this trend of POV, a 32 entrepreneur living in Bali, or doing business in China, or this viral trend from Daniel something, I forget his name. He started this POV trend, and the reason why this works and why I think it worked for me is because we are craving authenticity. We are craving connection. We're not craving more information. We're craving for the right person with the right message that we can connect with and build an actual community with, right? I would argue, every single client doesn't want a product or solution. They want a connection and an outcome, right? And so how we stand out in a sea of AI-powered content and everyone sounding like the same is to define your unique point of view, your POV. What this does is helps you stand out of the crowd, be the black sheep, and allow people to fall in love with your perspective and not your title or not your niche, or you're not just fitness coach, right? But you have a unique POV. And an example of this is Dan Koe. If you know of him, he's the guy that came out and said, "You are the niche." And he birthed that. And that phrase spread like wildfire because it was such a unique point of view. So many people resonated with that message. He scaled to multiple millions of dollars from that one epic video because of that unique POV. So this is hugely important when you are trying to stand out as a coach, as a consultant, as a creator, as an entrepreneur. You want to grow your business to multiple 6 figures. You have to stand out. You have to systematize your process to attracting clients. And it's extremely difficult to just hustle every single day, cold DM, cold email, prospecting. Like, it can be done. Don't get me wrong. You can do it. It's just not the hard that I want to choose. The hard I want to choose is creating content, having them come to me, and defining my unique POV. That's what really, really helped me. Now, the 6th one and last one is something that's, maybe not that revolutionary, but it's very important. I did what I loved. I love making content. I love coaching people. I really enjoy it. And if someone gave me $100 million and I never had to work again, I would still be creating content and I would still be helping people. And so I was able to persevere through all the times that were really, really tough because I loved the craft. I had a passion, not just in it for profit, right? And that helped me to really, really have fun in the journey and be okay with losing money or having people upset or whatever, right? Because in business it happens. This is a business is a reflection of ourselves, right? So the challenges that you see in business is reflection of like their weaknesses and strengths. And so it is such a cool opportunity that I get to make money off of the thing I love to do. And I can promise you, if you stick to those 6 things, it'd be so impossible not to think that you can't make multiple 6 figures, especially the last one, because you're gonna outwork where like I forget the quote. I think it's like hard work outbeats talent every single time. Well, I would argue that passion outbeats hard work every single time, because when you're passionate, it doesn't feel like hard work. And so if you can do those 6 things, that's what's going to help you get to multiple 6 figures before 2026. And it's what I did to get there. And so if you found this interesting, you can get more information down in the description. There's a link to my Skool community, absolutely for free. And you can get access to our systems that we use in my Done For You agency, working with 7, 8, and even 9-figure entrepreneurs with their YouTube channels. And you get to see what the micro YouTube funnel really looks like and how you can implement it into your business. So hopefully you found this valuable. I realized we didn't drink a lot of this, but if you put in the comments what your favorite beer or drink is, let me know in the description or in the comments. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Can't wait to see you guys next week in another episode of the Content Playbook. So without further ado, I'm signing off. Peace.